Damn, Foxing, back at it again with the Warlock. In this part 2 of 3, we'll be going over Affliction. As you can probably see, there's already a lot more going on for Affliction. So let's delve into exactly what is going on. Ulthalesh, the Deadwind Harvester, is Affliction's new best friend. After you kill and passively in combat, you will collect souls. You can have a maximum of 12 souls. Using your artifact ability, you can harvest these souls, and that will give you, per soul, 5-second buff that doubles all passive traits in the artifact, which is all of them besides Soul Flame. Now, funnily enough, you get some very powerful traits early on in your artifact, such as Compound Interest. Every time Agony and Corruption deals damage, you have a chance to gain this buff. For every stack that you get, your Unstable Affliction is increased by 10%, and you can have a maximum of 5 of this at any given time. And the other very powerful trait that you get early on is Fatal Echoes. When Unstable Affliction expires, it has a 25% chance to reapply itself, and this can go back to back. So you can have very high uptime on Unstable Affliction, especially paired with Reap Soul, which doubles it to 50%. Now, something important to note is when you use Reap Soul, Compound Interest doesn't actually go up to 10 stacks or 20% per stack. It only increases the chance that you get these. The other two major talents is Harvester of Souls. Each time Corruption deals damage, it has a chance to deal a vague amount of extra shadow damage to the target and heals you for 3% of your maximum health. The other is Wrath of Consumption. After you kill a target, your damage over time effects deal 2% increased damage for the next 20 seconds, stacking 5 times. When you use Reap Souls, that goes to 4%. While you will be picking up Harvester of Souls first, most likely, it is important to note that Soul Flame and Wrath of Consumption basically fixes the problem that dot specs have with low HP targets. For instance, let's say these target dummies over here have very low health, and they're only going to be alive for like 4 or 5 seconds, such as the Imps on Manaroth. Now, you can either ignore them and do no damage to them, or you can throw out a seed. The seed will explode, spreading corruption to everything and giving you a nice chunk of damage with Soul Flame. And for the next 20 seconds, you will deal 10 to 20% extra damage. Every other talent is just a small passive bonus to damage, healing, and damage taken. So let's go over the talents now. For the 15 tier, we have Haunt returning. However, it doesn't give you any bonuses. It's more like a Murder of Crows that hunters have. As you apply it, if the thing dies, it resets. However, you're comparing this to Writhe in Agony, which is amazing for damage output. And lastly, we have Drain Soul, which is a better version damage-wise than Drain Life. However, it doesn't really do anything for us. It doesn't compare damage-wise to even Haunt or this at all, and it doesn't actually give you a soul shard unless the thing dies. Now, to quickly go over just how good this is, you get a 20 stack of Agony, and it ramps up in damage exponentially. Like, I'm gonna keep reapplying it so it gets to 20, and you can see how much more damage it's doing. Like, the bonus itself per tick is higher than Haunt and higher than Drain Soul's entire damage. And, like, I mean, Haunt, you have a dot that will reset if the thing dies. However, it's still a dot. You want it to be ticking. But Writhe in Agony just does so much more. And if something's going to die really quick, you don't want to put a dot on it. So for right now, doubling Agony is pretty cookie cutter. Could change. So let's move on to 30. We have Contagion, which makes your unstable affliction also increase all damage dealt to the target by 15%. Next is Absolute Corruption. Corruption is now permanent and deals 40% increased damage. Duration to players is 60. And Mana Tap consumes 40% of your mana to grant you 10% extra damage for 20 seconds. Now for single target, Contagion is probably going to win out 9 out of 10 times, as Corruption is very, very, very good for fights like the Twin Consorts or Iron Quan, where something pops into the fight where you can dot it up and then it leaves, as you will have a permanent dot rolling on these things. And if that wasn't good enough, in case you ever die, you still have a dot that's going to continuously tick. Say, like a fight where there's an instant death mechanic and you get chosen to die. You will have your dots still rolling, like on Gorefiend. You can go down and still have your dots ticking on the boss. Now for 45, we have Demon Skin and Mortal Coil. They're the same as Destruction. However, instead of having Shadow Fury, we have Howl of Terror, which fears things instead of stunning them. For 60, we have Soul Harvest again, and then we have Sow the Seeds and Siphon Life. Basically, Siphon Life, if you're using the Fell Hunter, will be the go-to. However, Sow the Seeds in any form of cleave whatsoever you will be using, because it is very, very good. As Seed of Corruption deals a fucking ton of damage now. And you can continuously do this if you have any type of soul shard generation, and just keep throwing them out there and it just blows the shit out of everything. It's quite good. Now for 75, it's the same thing as Destruction, movement versus durability. 90, it's the same thing. However, Grimoire of Sacrifice can be used in some situations, but in my opinion, Supremacy, again, is going to beat it out. While normally I would say Sacrifice, because we have so many dots ticking and stuff, it should be better. However, it doesn't actually have a proc coefficient with Sacrifice. So, Supremacy completely beats it out. For 100, we still have Conduit, which is every soul shard you spend has a 30% chance to be refunded. Phantom Singularity places a dot above a target and deals area effect damage around that target, and 30% of that damage done is healing you. It's kind of like Siphon Life, but in Seed of Corruption form. While this should be extremely good for AoE, it kind of pales in comparison to Soul Effigy, as Soul Effigy gives you a literal 50% damage increase for single target. However, it still works with seeds, and that is quite a lot of extra damage. Now, I would like to show you what Soul Effigy looks like. However, it currently spawns 100 feet under the ground. But I can show you what Phantom Singularity looks like, but sadly it's nothing all that special. It's just a, thing floating above them. Deals damage. It's nothing really special animation-wise, which is kind of sad. It could be really, really cool looking, if it was actually sucking souls up into it or something. With Compound Interest, you can actually see things coming toward you, you're harvesting them, unlike this thing which just kind of floats there and does damage. So pretty much our builds is very single target or very AoE, and there isn't much other than that, I mean, it's very, very cookie cutter. You have seeds, and then you have corruption, which deals damage and keeps it permanent on everything. You don't have to reapply it to everything. I mean, you will be using seeds a lot, so it doesn't really have to be a thing, but you're not going to be using mana tap because that wastes global cooldowns and it doesn't last that long. And contagion, you're not going to be putting unstable affliction on everything. There's no way to spread it. You know, we don't have soul swap, soul conduit. For the seeds, you can keep spamming those things out there, you know, back to back when you have agony running. And then for single target is the same thing, just using soul effigy, which is a 50% fucking increase to single target, which completely is just like, it's so strong. I mean, I really like soul effigy, but I don't think it should be that far ahead of the other two. So gameplay wise and like playstyle, there isn't actually much to really go over. As, I mean, it's the same as before. You just keep your dots up, and if it's 3 or more targets, you use seeds. If it's, you know, one target or you in the soul effigy, you keep unstable affliction on them. Hope that it refreshes, as we don't have much soul shard generation as affliction unless there's multiple targets to keep agony on. However, it is very, very track dependent, as in you track a lot of things going on, such as your compound interest. You want to keep it going, make sure you don't like overwrite a weaker unstable affliction in case it refreshes. You know, the soul aura, you want to make sure you use that at the proper time, as it won't have 100% uptime. So, like, again, if there's a bunch of imps spawning, you want to throw out your seed, and then you can harvest, and then it explodes, they die, and then you get, you know, double the benefit from it. I guess this is the post-video, like, end of the video, author comments, whatever. But there's something I wanted to actually, like, say is, in Legion, I actually thought I was going to really, really hate Affliction. But, like, I mean, I tested it, and, I mean, in previous expansions, I've hated Affliction. You know, in Mists of Pandaria, you just did your burst, and then you sat there for, like, 20 fucking seconds doing nothing. It's like, this is not fun at all. I mean, you know, people who enjoy snapshotting playstyles or whatever, it's like, if you enjoy it, cool, but I think snapshotting should just fucking rot in hell. And in Warlords of Draenor, you basically just sat there spamming Drain Soul because your dots lasted like too long, or like you get the trinket in Hellfire Citadel and then you're just spamming your dots. But in Legion, it's so much more fun. You know, you're actually doing stuff that is more productive and, in quote, healthy play style. And there's like some options, and there's like, should I unstable affliction here or should I seeds again? It's a lot more dynamic and fun. So that's my view on, like, over just how the changes are for Affliction in general. So I will see you all in part 3 for Demonology. Peace. Oh my god, go away, corruption, god!